My fellow Ambazonians, fellow viewers, today we are bringing in Comrade Honorable Sama Thomas. Honorable Sama Thomas will be talking about Ayaba's audio and how Ayaba has tended to be a dictator in the struggle, and he explains how we want to avoid dictatorship. So I want you to take a listen and you give your comments down below, please.
Good morning, fellow Southern Cameroonians. I've listened to about how many audios this morning, but two stands out. This one from my brother Comrade Ayaba, and one from this guy who goes with the pseudonym Angel Mike. My name is Sama Thomas. That is my name, Sama Thomas. And if you are in this struggle, living out of La République, and you are afraid of putting your name out there or your face, then you are a spy. Yes. If you are in this struggle and living out of that quagmire called La République Cameroon, and you are afraid of putting your name out there for other fellow comrades to know who you are a damn spy. So the only thing I can say here is Angel Mike is a spy, but I'm going to dwell with his audio. Dictatorship. Comrade Ayaba is trying to make us believe that he is not a dictator and he wants what his actions are to protect the revolution. I do not believe that Comrade Ayaba as an individual is the only one who can protect the struggle. All of us involved and fighting for Boya in unison are protecting the struggle. But if you insist, let me tell Comrade Ayaba that what the statement has just made here that he is not a dictator is a lie. Why is it a lie? Comrade Ayaba is in record saying, and I quote, "Give me the leadership of the struggle till Boya. When I'm in Boya at the Prime Minister's lodge for 2 years, then I will step down." He is not saying that it should be a democratic process, but that he is imposing, if that is not the case, nothing more. That is by itself dictatorship. Whenever you call Comrade Ayaba, that, come on, let us have a talk and work as a team. in Comrade Ayaba's head, if we are to talk, I must be the most influential person there. I must be the one to lead. That is dictatorship. That is dictating. Comrade Ayaba does not give room and does not want to give any chance for democracy to prevail. For had it been, Comrade Ayaba was open for democracy, he couldn't have been afraid all along of coming to meet other fellow comrades to sit and discuss genuinely about the struggle. Sit as a commoner, discuss about the struggle, vote with your free mind. Let us vote with our free mind who we think can lead. In that process, I can be the one to be voted in. But Comrade Ayaba does not want to give any chance for such a thing to happen. All he wants to, I must protect what is mine, my inheritance. I must protect my inheritance to be the one to reach Buea as the first prime minister or president of the Southern Cameroons. That is dictatorship. There are no two ways or two things that you can tell me. For all the signs are out there glaring that Comrade Ayaba is a dictator. The word democracy does not exist in his vocabulary. Let me go back to history. The first person who started this syndrome of dictatorship in the Southern Cameroon struggle was Sako's mentor. Yes, the first person who started this idea of dictatorship in the Southern Cameroon struggle was Sako's mentor, Henry Fossum. When Henry Fossum was voted to lead the SCNC, when he was outvoted, he became a seat-tied person. That he was voted to be dead till Buea. Though doing nothing, but I will be chairman till Buea. It is rather unfortunate that when Sako, the CPDM stooge, which we never knew, which we didn't know, crossed over to the United States, this dictator, impostor, Henry Fossum, made Sako the Secretary General of his one-man show SCNC, making Sako and himself two-man shows. That is where Sako learned the word Southern Cameroons. I've highlighted this severally, that Fossum calls the Southern Cameroons, and it is only from Fossum and Sako that you will hear the sound South to be Southern or Salt, Southern Cameroon. It is only from Sako and Henry Fossum that you will hear Southern Cameroons. I've never heard any other person out of these two call South. And the architect of Salt and Southern Cameroon is Fossum, and Fossum taught Sako how to pronounce Southern Cameroon, Southern Cameroons. The dictator, the impostor that imposed himself as the chairman of the SCNC. Little did Southern Cameroonians know that this CPDM agent who has worked with this dictator called Fosun has learned all his antics and will turn around to slap all of us in the face. That is the more reason Sako is on record saying, and I quote, if it's a revolution and it's not a dictatorship, then it's not a revolution. End of quote. The CPDM guy who goes by the name Angel Mike should be able to throw some more light on this. If Sama Thomas is lying, he should come out to say what Sama Thomas has said is a lie. If it's a revolution and it's not a dictator, then it's not a revolution. So I must be the one. Even if I kill 8 billion Southern Cameroonians to reach Boya, I must be the one. Even if I die, by the end of the day, Southern Cameroon was a royal kingdom of Sako, King Sako, making it a hereditary, as instructed by his mentor, the other dictator called Henry Fosun. A dictator cannot mentor a democrat. Yes, a dictator cannot mentor a democrat. You can only teach and transfer to some other person what you know best. You cannot teach something else you do not understand. If it's a revolution and it's not a dictator, it's not a dictatorship, then it's not a revolution. Can you imagine that Sako was elected to be the acting interim president? I use the word elected to be the interim acting vice president for 2 years. He was re-elected as Mr. President with a term of 2 years clearly spelled out. But when the time for re-election comes again, Sako said no more elections. It's supposed to be a dictator now. If it's a revolution and it's not a dictator, then it's not a revolution. So I, Sako, I am president till Boya. And I will rule in Boya for 3 years. Even if I die, it's my son that will rule in Boya for 3 years. If we choose as a real kingdom, we will now open the way for democracy. If we don't, dictatorship, for a dictator will never allow or give any chance for democracy to prevail in his dictatorial kingdom. This CPDM fellow, like I've challenged him and Fruit John So and Angel Mike, I am challenging these fellows now. If you guys know that you people were not CPDM agents in Southern Cameroons, I will want to challenge you all to prove yourselves otherwise to the people of the Southern Cameroons. Either let me give Sako that he was a militant of the LGA party. Let him prove that he was a militant of the LGA party. Where were you, Angel Mike, if you were not a CPGM? Surely you will say you were of the SDF. Prove that you were of the SDF with an SDF militancy card. I beg your pardon. An SDF militancyship card and an LGA militancyship card, not membership card. But these are the CPDM agents that have encroached into this struggle, and because they've been taught all the crookery nature of doing things within the CPDM, they've carried that same mentality into the Southern Cameroon struggle. If it's not a dictatorship, then it's not a revolution. As it is a revolution, it must be a dictatorship, and I, King Sako or King Ayaba, must be there till it is Boya. That is why these two fellows will never come to sit with anybody to talk genuinely how to collaborate, for they are afraid that if they sit genuinely with any other persons to talk about the struggle and to come up with a collaborative platform, they might not be the ones to lead. So what is the point giving any chance for discussion with any other Southern Cameroonian? Dictators. The only exception here that I can say without doubt that he wasn't a CPGM militant is Comrade Ayaba. That you put a poison, I will tell you. I do not know. I do not know where these dictatorial tendencies, where my brother learned these dictatorial tendencies, and they are really eating him dead to death. But he's not getting it. Southern Cameroonians have struggled to advise him, please come out of this your dictatorial attitude. He is not getting it. But for Sako, he is a born dictator and will never understand anything called democracy. The only type of democracy Sako understands is democracy avancée. CPDM democracy that never exists. Instead of being instead of being democracy avancée, is dictatorship, advanced dictatorship. For it has changed from the dictatorship of what we know are dictators to become a monstrous dictatorship. A dictator that wants to kill just everybody to secure his power. A dictator that wants to kill just everybody for his throne and destroy at the detriment of the development of the nation. What is the difference between Sako and Paul Biya? Let any Southern Cameroon tell me. What makes Sako different from Paul Biya? For Sako, you can describe Sako and Biya as bedfellows. So what makes this CPDM agent different from Paul Biya? Because Paul Biya, when he was in Victoria Oboya, militating in the CPDM, Paul Biya was his mentor. When he crossed over, after stealing people's money and scamming people from left to right, from Mr. Pastor to Mr. running an NGO, teaching people to go and work with the United Nations in Central Africa, from going to Brazil to sell his book. I went there for a diplomatic mission. In his sermon, My Inheritance. The Southern Cameroons was this fellow's inheritance. So how can you take Sako's inheritance away from him? And what do you inherit? You inherit something that you can never turn it down or give it to another person. Only your family takes over what you inherited, for it's your property. So the Southern Cameroon's struggle and presidency now is Sarko's inheritance. So the Southern Cameroon now by Sarko, as to the understanding of Sarko, is a royal kingdom with His Majesty King Sarko. And when His Majesty King Sarko dies, the son or the daughter takes over and continue with the royal kingdom. Dictatorship, if it's a revolution and it's not a dictatorship, it's not a revolution. So I must be there till Boya. Let me handle something here about impeachment, which the Sodo guy and the scammer give as impeachment. Impeachment truly is not removal from office. As in our local parlance, we will say, "Summers no be judge." Who takes a matter to court does not necessarily mean that you will win because you were the one who took it to court. But if I take a matter to court and the court invites the person that I went to court to complain to about, and he refuses to come to appear in front of that court, if you do not come to defend yourself in front of that court, then your opponent wins you by what the boxing ring technocrats will call KO, knockout. You didn't show up to defend yourself, so it is presumed that you have nothing to defend, so you lost the case. Sarko was called in front of the court to come and defend himself. He refuses to turn up. They wrote to him. The court adjourned the case, sent a letter to him to appear before the court. He refused to turn up, and he was impeached and removed from office. Had it been he appeared in front of the court to defend himself, the case of removal couldn't have appeared. So Sarko was impeached and removed from office, for he refuses to attend any court session that he was invited to attend. As such, by law, he was guilty of all the accusations that were labeled against him. But as the CPD, a mentality that is eating you people off and killing you guys, you tend to be the dictator that you are. If it's not a dictator, if it's a revolution and it's not a dictatorship, then it's not a revolution. So it's my inheritance and my royal kingdom. I, King Sarko, will be there till Boya. And some stupid people who call themselves doctors, like this stupid woman who calls herself Lobati. Dr. Lobati. These are some of the things that really used to anger me. Dr. Lobati supports Sarko that he should be there till Boya. And this same Dr. Lobati was the one who told Sarko, when he was re-elected for the second time, that you have a 2 years mandate. This same Dr. Lobati. Chai! Wonder shall never end on earth. For the case of Comrade Ayaba Cho, he was impeached for he refuses not to respect his prison status and allowed free people to fight for his release. For he was advised not to be meddling into the affairs of the struggle while behind bars, like this Sodo and scammer and Jamaica has said about Comrade Litoli or what from Zambia or Rhodesia. What is Zambia or Mugabe's kind of Zimbabwe and Mugabe. Litoli or whosoever was impeached because he wanted to control the struggle from prison, to dictate. And the reasons of his Litoli's impeachment were very clear and glaring. And that was the right thing to be done. For you cannot be the enemies, you cannot be into the enemy's hands. And you want to control a liberation movement. It can never work anywhere in the world. Some people are here, Ayaba Cho was the face of the struggle. Yes, I accept he was the face of the struggle. But for the simple fact that he could not humble himself to sit in that prison quietly, for us out here to maintain him as the face of the struggle, while struggling to release him and others that were there, we said no. You will be impeached and removed. For that was the best thing to do. As it happens to Litoli, so too it happens to Ayaba Cho. I think those that are insisting that Ayaba Cho must be can now see that what the Southern Cameroon people did is not the first. We haven't invented the spin wheel, but we've just replicate or reproduce the spin wheel, not inventing it. We have just copied and pasted. So what we did was right. Accept it or leave it. We will never accept dictators to rule the Southern Cameroon. So the Southern Cameroon was a democracy from 1953 till today. No SCNC leader had ever been handed over the position of leadership. You were either accepted by acclamation or voted into office by the people. So, the Southern Cameroon struggle and the Southern Cameroons as a nation will never be a dictatorship. Anybody that shows any semblance of a dictator should be shamed in public. Sama Thomas.